Hey guys, today I would be talking about an asynchronous version of the for of loop which is called as for await of loop. Now this for await of loop comes very handy when we have to deal with data that is delivered asynchronously. For example, reading asynchronously from a file or an HTTP connection. Now, I've already created a video on for of loop in this JavaScript series. So guys, if you haven't watched that, please go and check that out. Now to keep things simple, I would like to start with using the for of loop and then I'll shift towards the for await. Alright guys, so in here you see we have an array which has got apple, mango and banana. So these are three items. And to iterate over this fruit collection, I'll write the for of loop something like this. Okay, so if you run this, first, it is going to pick this apple, it's going to print that to the console, then it's going to print mango, and finally banana. Alright, so let us run this and check that in the console. Alright, so the order is maintained. Now, imagine instead of these static string values, we receive the data from the server, and hence there is some latency introduced. Now, every other kind of loop that you have in JavaScript is going to want to run as fast as it can through all the items in the collection. So if we have a string or an array or an object with bunch of properties and you want to run through the characters, items or the properties, you can use for loop, while loop, etc. All these loops, they want to go as quickly as possible. So now we have to see how for await of works. And guys, here's the documentation for await. Now you could see for await of statement creates a loop iterating over asynchronous object as well as on synchronous iterable, including built-in string, array, and array-like objects. Okay. Now this can work on object as well as on arrays, right? So we are going to focus on arrays only because in testing we deal with arrays more compared to the object when we have these asynchronous properties, right? But I'll just give you a brief. So on these objects you will have the symbol dot async iterator method. Okay, that method returns an object, guys, and that object must have this method next, and then only this for await of syntax would work. And in here you see, because we are using await, so we have created a function which is of type async, because async await works together. Okay, so what we are going to do is, in our example guys, we have this very simple array. All right, but in here you see I have created this method. Now this method is returning you what? It is returning your promise. Once that promise is resolved, this would be the outcome. Okay, so now in this array, all right, there are three items. So I'm invoking this method once, okay, and then I'm passing in the value 1000 milliseconds. Then second time I'm passing the value 2000, and third time I'm passing the value 3000. Okay, now if I use a normal loop, okay, so you see what we'll get back is promise pending. Okay, because like I mentioned, these kind of loops would like to run through as quickly as possible. Okay, they will not wait for this promise to be resolved. So you save it and you run this again. So what do you get back? You get promise pending, and promise pending. Okay, so let me comment the simple for of loop for a minute and focus on this part. Now how can we fix that? So we have to say await in here, but it will not work like this because we have to wrap this code inside the async function. Okay, so we just say const, let's give it this function a name, loop async, and let us make this function async like so, and then we cut this code from here and put it inside the function, so it becomes the body of the function. And all now you have to do is you just have to execute this function like so. Now see what will happen. So this async array will have this. Okay, now because you have said await, so this element, okay, would be executed only after this promise is being resolved, and this is what we want. Okay, so now if you run this, you see after 1 second promise resolved, after 2 seconds promise resolved, and then after 3 this, right, like so. Now guys, if you change it to 4, now what will happen? So you might imagine that this is getting resolved in 2 seconds. So this would be printed first, and then this, and finally this. No. So what the first item that would be resolved is this. Okay, the others will wait for this item to be resolved first. So we'll not see anything for the first 4 seconds. All right, but once this promise is resolved, immediately we'll see all three. Okay, let me run this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we get the result. All right, so this is about for await of loop for arrays. We can use this with maps and sets as well, but in this video I just wanted to focus on arrays containing the asynchronous items. Thanks for watching.